So if you haven't heard yet, this situation with former NFL quarterback, now turned NFL analyst, it is insane. All right. So Mark Sanchez allegedly got into it with someone on the street. We don't know why. We're going to get into what happened with Mark Sanchez. He got into it with someone. They go back and forth. Mark Sanchez gets stabbed. The guy allegedly gets stabbed. And this wasn't just some dude. Apparently, according to reports, it was a 60-something-year-old man. Wasn't worth it. I'm going to give you guys the reports. We're going to see what's being said by the news. And then in the next video, we're actually going to get into the full affidavit. And I'm going to tell y'all exactly what went down. Here we go.
Well, former NFL quarterback and Fox broadcast analyst Mark Sanchez is expected in court this week after a fight and stabbing in downtown that really made national news.
And by the way, I forgot to mention, Mark Sanchez got stabbed and then he got arrested. I shouldn't laugh. Everybody's alive, so we can laugh about this. Mark Sanchez got stabbed and then got arrested after he got stabbed. I've never heard anybody like this.
Well, former NFL quarterback and Fox broadcast analyst Mark Sanchez is expected in court this week after a fight and stabbing in downtown that really made national news, and he was arrested yesterday in the hospital.
So now we're getting a closer look about the violent encounter that happened, and Anna Chalker joins us in studio after looking into court documents and learning more about the other man's condition after this fight. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. The 69-year-old's family tells us he is recovering and his injuries are so severe that he's having trouble talking now. And I want to warn you, the photos we're about to show you are graphic.
Okay, graphic warning, guys. These photos are insane. And I think you guys are going to be surprised that a 60-something-year-old man did this to Mark Sanchez. Here we go.
Blurred the man's face and are not identifying him at the family's request, but they say he has a deep 6-inch gash on his cheek that went into his tongue. This fight took place early Saturday morning on Washington Street downtown, and it was all caught on security cameras around the area. According to those court documents, the victim says Sanchez approached him while he was in his truck working in a loading dock in the Westin Hotel. He says Sanchez told him he couldn't be in that area. Police say the victim didn't have his hearing aids in, so he really couldn't hear Sanchez, but says he could smell alcohol on him. Court documents say Sanchez got into that man's truck, and when the man tried to grab his phone, Sanchez stopped him. Police say the victim grabbed his pepper spray and then sprayed Sanchez in the face, but Sanchez wiped it off and approached him again. That's when the victim pulled out a knife and stabbed Sanchez 2 or 3 times. Sanchez ran off to a nearby bar and was helped there before EMS arrived. He was charged with battery resulting in injury, public intoxication, and unlawful entry of a motor vehicle. Now, Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears responded to this saying, quote, "This incident should have never happened. What began as a disagreement between a 38-year-old former professional athlete and a 69-year-old man should have not escalated into violence or left anyone seriously injured." And all of these charges against Sanchez right now, they are misdemeanors. We're kind of waiting to see what will come out of this with this court hearing. But coming up, we do talk with a defense attorney who's not associated to this case on why he believes these misdemeanors could turn into felonies just with all this new evidence and those new photos that you just saw when they'll be presented in court.
And in the court documents that outline the details of what happened, have we heard from Sanchez about this?
We have not, because he's still in the hospital. So we're still kind of waiting to hear in that initial condition we heard. He was in critical condition, can't really kind of understand what he's talking about now, but that is the big thing. We still have not heard from Sanchez in any of this.
All right.
Well, we're going to hear from Mark Sanchez soon, but this entire story is insane. Now, why this happened in Indianapolis, I don't know. Why Mark Sanchez was there, I have no idea. But it's interesting to see how the laws are different in each different state and even in certain counties, because with Mark Sanchez acting this way and putting this man in that position, just because you start yelling at somebody and maybe push them, depending on the laws where you are, they might be allowed to, do what they got to do. And that seems like what happened in this case, and which is why Mark Sanchez ended up in the hospital. So let's go ahead and hear from an eyewitness that saw the whole thing go down.
Thanks, AC. For the first time, we're hearing from a man who witnessed the immediate aftermath of the fight that led to former NFL quarterback and current Fox Sports commentator Mark Sanchez being stabbed and later arrested for multiple misdemeanors. Sanchez is still recovering in the hospital. As News 8's Hernan Gutierrez reports, this comes as the Marion County prosecutor released new details this morning.
The victim in this case was a 69-year-old delivery truck driver, and he told police that he believed Mark Sanchez was, quote, trying to kill me. Investigators were able to use an interview with the driver and security camera footage from the hotel to piece together what happened. I spoke to a witness who was around to see what happened once police and first responders arrived.
Darren Laughlin captured this video early Saturday morning as police arrived at the scene of the fight. He was getting food downtown when he heard sirens.
I noticed they stopped just up the road,
man.
So I followed them up and stayed across the street to see what was going on.
According to police, Sanchez and the unnamed driver had an argument about where the truck was parked. At some point, Sanchez tried to get into the truck and even shoved the driver as the driver was trying to flag security. It escalated into a fight in which the victim pepper sprayed and later stabbed Sanchez multiple times. A short time after getting to the alley, Laughlin saw both men carried off on gurneys.
The second person, they brought him out of the alley here on the gurney, and he was setting up on the gurney and had a towel wrapped all the way around his head.
Laughlin saw the delivery truck backed into the dock and says there was enough room for a car to pass by. According to court documents, security footage shows Sanchez throwing the driver into the dumpster and nearby pallets.
At first, I just didn't want to believe that it was him.
Sanchez reportedly told police he didn't know what happened and could only remember grabbing for a window at a nearby pub. Laughlin recalls seeing someone come out of the business, not knowing it was Sanchez at the time.
You don't think you're going to see somebody, you know, recognizable in something like this.
In a statement, Marion County prosecutor Ryan Mears condemned the incident, adding in part what began as a disagreement between a 38-year-old former professional athlete and a 69-year-old man should not have escalated into violence or left anyone seriously injured. Laughlin says he was shocked to find out about Sanchez's arrest after what he saw that morning.
Now, hold on a second. Let's go back to this statement. This is a statement from Ryan Mears. He said, what began as a disagreement between the 38-year-old former professional athlete and a 69-year-old man should not have escalated into violence or left anyone seriously injured. Well, listen, again, if we look at the law, when we talk about stand your ground, I know stand your ground's a sensitive subject. I don't know the laws in Indianapolis, but there are many cases. If you feel threatened, you feel your life's at stake. This is a fragile 69-year-old man that's trying to do his job, and he gets harassed by this, I don't know, how tall is Mark Sanchez? Probably like 6'4", 200 and something pounds, drunk guy trying to climb in his car. I mean, if you put your hands on me, I pepper spray you, and it goes down like this, and then Mark Sanchez threw him in the dumpster. It sounds like I don't know what Mark Sanchez had going on, but this is wild.
Says he was shocked to find out about Sanchez's arrest after what he saw that morning.
I didn't expect anybody like that to be involved in just a two-person altercation of like an argument, especially him.
Sanchez is facing 3 misdemeanor charges, including battery, unlawful entry of a vehicle, and public intoxication. He has a $300 bond and is set to make an initial appearance Tuesday morning. Reporting downtown, I'm Hernan Gutierrez for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
He has a $300 bond. Oh my gosh, man. Let's get into some more details. And then in the next video, y'all make sure you stick around because we're going to actually get into the full affidavit of probable cause and get some more details on what went down in this situation. But TMZ is saying Mark Sanchez stabbed in Indianapolis, hospitalized with severe injuries, and don't forget to mention he got arrested. Fox Sports has released a statement about Mark Sanchez's conditions, acknowledging he was injured, but adding he's in stable condition at the hospital. Fox Sports says, we are deeply grateful to the medical team for their exceptional care and support. Our thoughts and prayers are with Mark Sanchez, and we ask that everyone please respect his and his family's privacy during this time. This dude getting fired. We've called firing so many times, and this is a pretty easy one, guys. You don't do this and keep a job in the public eye, especially for Disney. They don't play around. Former NFL QB Mark Sanchez was stabbed last night in Indianapolis and is currently in the hospital with critical injuries, TMZ Sport has learned. Police received a call around 12:30 a.m. Saturday morning to a street in downtown Indianapolis for 2 injured people. And one of the people was the former first-round draft pick. We're told Mark Sanchez was rushed to a local hospital in critical condition. It's unclear what led to the violent incident. We're going to get into that shortly. 38-year-old Mark Sanchez was in town for his broadcasting gig with Fox Sports. There you go, for work, and was scheduled to call Sunday's Colts and Raiders game at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Can y'all imagine, like, hey guys, I just got stabbed up by a grandpa. I can't make it into work tomorrow. They're probably like, I mean, how bad is it? No, I'm kidding. Statement of overnight stabbing. The IMPD is investigating a physical disturbance that happened near Senate Avenue at West Washington Street on October 4th, 2025, around 12:30 a.m. The incident involved 2 adult males, resulting in one man receiving lacerations and the other sustaining injuries consistent with stab wounds. Detectives believe this was an isolated incident between the 2 men and not a random act of violence. Both individuals, who were not local residents, have been identified. IMPD aggravated assault detectives are continuing the investigation and have reviewed video footage of the incident. Y'all saw the camera outside where grandpa got tossed in the dumpster. Both men received medical treatment. The man with the apparent stab wounds remains hospitalized in stable condition. Mark Sanchez. The case will be presented to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office for a charging decision. It is the practice of the IMPD Public Affairs Office to not identify the victims or suspects in incidents unless the suspect is arrested, charged, or being sought. Mark Sanchez was arrested. The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department released a statement Saturday morning in which they announced the incident involved 2 adult males. One suffered lacerations and the other who suffered a stab wound. IMPD says both people were unidentified, and it appears this is an isolated incident, not a random act of violence. Before exchanging his pads for the mic, Mark Sanchez, yeah, we know about his history. Y'all said butt fumble in the chat. We know who Mark Sanchez is. And being a professional, this is inexcusable. I get people are human, but it's 2025, guys. We have so many ways to avoid situations like this. And if you're a person who's going to be calling a game the next day, I mean, think about this for a second. If none of this had happened, how do y'all think this would look? Mark Sanchez the night before, he's supposed to be on camera calling a game. It's just getting wasted at a bar. And now he's saying he doesn't remember any. I mean, it's crazy. We're going to get into more of the details in the next video. Y'all make sure you stick around. Let me know what you think about this in the comments in the chat.